regular beer project doubled down on Miller High Life. Well, you know, Miller High Life, introduced in 1855 as Fred Miller Lager, Frederick Miller Lager. In 1903, the recipe was not changed. The branding was changed. They wanted to revamp it, and they brought it out as High Life. Okay, so it says on there since 1903. Well, and they'll tell you this on the brewery tour or on their website if you take time to look. It's from 1855. Okay, Frederick Miller, an immigrant from where else? Germany. Stopped in New Orleans, wish he'd have stayed. Probably didn't care for the humidity and the heat. So he moved on up the river and then got off the river and went on up to Milwaukee, where he started the Frederick Miller Brewing Company. His family continued to own it until 1966, when the person who inherited it had a problem with alcohol. I don't mean she was an alcoholic. She didn't like the idea of selling alcohol. She felt it was a bad thing to do. And so she sold it off to an investment firm who turned around 3 years later in '69 and started a sale of Miller Brewing to Philip Morris, the cigarette company, who continued to own, actually they continued to own it until 2002, or was it 5, when they sold off to South African, 2005, SAB, South African beverages, and but actually Altria, the new name for Philip Morris, they continue today to be the major shareholder of the company, 27%, biggest shareholder, but they are in the process of selling Miller off to Molson Coors. I know they've been in combination with Molson Coors since '08, but they're going to become totally under their control at the end of 2016. No big deal. These companies buy each other out all the time. One thing that's interesting, though, is that for the last few years, Miller has been doing these art project cans and bottles. They hire different artists to design cans. This one is designed by Benny Gold, okay? And it's a gold can, 100% gold, with red and black trim. Don't know anything about Benny Gold, but if you look on their website, and I've noticed the last few years they had this Heritage Series, Artist Series. They're copying them from Pabst, because Pabst Blue Ribbon has been doing this for over 10 years, since around 2000. They were doing this thing around, you know, to say, well, if you got some ideas for art designs, for can designs, send them in and we'll showcase that on our can and bottles. And you've probably seen some of those Pabst Blue Ribbon art project designs. And they're saying, we'll just do that to showcase what you can do, and maybe somebody will pick up on it and you'll get a career in art, commercial art. And so now Miller is doing it. Hold on a second. So set that thermostat so the AC doesn't cut back on there, and this is pretty loud. The blower motor is loud. It's effective, but loud. Okay, well, we know Miller High Life is 4.7% alcohol. The bitterness units are low. It's not going to skunk even in a clear bottle because they use galena hops, which Miller developed as a light-resistant hop variety. They're going to be clear, golden. The body's going to be light, and it's going to finish crisp, clean, and refreshing. We know the routine. Now that they will be under the control of Coors, we'll notice that you're going to see more can designs, more art projects, because who changes cans and bottles more than Coors Banquet beer, right? Or Coors Light, for that matter. When I used to collect light beers, that's one reason I stopped collecting light beers, because of the plethora of Coors light beers. I could not keep up with the collection. I was like, wow, man, every time I turn around, I've got another Coors light beer to get. Bottle, can, black label, silver label, red and black label. I was like, I can't handle this. And I purged my light beer collection for all intents and purposes. It's sad in a way, because I had some jewels, like a 12-ounce can of 12-ounce bottle of Schaefer Light. Yep, I bought it in Hidalgo, Texas, on the border of Mexico when I was crossing to Reynosa. Kind of regrets getting rid of that. Here's some Borden pepper jack cheese. Borden. And this is so rare. Armour Star Vienna Sausage, syrup flavored. What will they think of next? Great with breakfast. Well, it's still AM. I don't know. What can you find out in this wacky world? They're outside cutting grass. The parish is cut. We don't have counties. We have parishes. You can hear them maybe. They are cutting grass. And all the egrets, you know, these white birds with long legs like a little stork. They were following right behind the mower so they could eat all the worms and everything in the ground. These egrets had an orange beak and little orange trim feathers around here and on by the beak. So I said this is a subspecies of it, or alternate species. We got lots of herons, egrets around here, spoonbills. In Louisiana, the Gulf Coast is a pretty interesting place if you're into bird watching, wildlife. Also Texas, I went down to the Rio Grande. There's a bird sanctuary, a federal bird sanctuary. It's pretty fascinating. Okay, so get ready for, and now you might say, well, why would I mean, this is just a regular old ordinary beer. It's usually marketed around the sub-premium or premium, depending where you live, level, like maybe at the level of Coors Banquet or Budweiser, or maybe even lower at the Old Milwaukee level, something like that. Never at the lower, like Keystone or Natural or something like that. But it's kind of in between the cheap and the premium. It kind of skirts that area. Always has. Yeah, and the flavor is kind of neutral. It has some, people will say vegetable, cooked vegetable things. I'm not getting that so much on the can. I know it's not supposed to make a difference. You can get this on draft. You can get kegs of this. Go to any store that sells kegs, like Mathern's. They can order you kegs of Miller High Life. I've been to many college parties, and I never even was a drinker back then. And even now, people will get Miller High Life on in the kegs. Okay, it's like, because, you know, there's not too many people going to go to the party and say, I don't want it. You know, they're going to drink it. It's pretty light bodied. Or they might get Miller Light in kegs, but I see a lot of High Life for some reason in kegs. Which means you're drinking Miller Genuine Draft, okay? Because Miller Genuine Draft is High Life that is not pasteurized, and it's sold in bottles and cans. Apparently most people don't care because Genuine Draft has gone by the wayside. Their website does not function. They keep saying for over a year now, coming soon. It's not coming soon. They don't really update their Facebook page. It's a dying brand now. Somebody in Australia said it's a big beer here, and apparently in India. But in America, Genuine Draft has hit the skids to a large extent. High Life is still going strong. It's one of your major brands. Every store will have High Life, okay? Every store in America that sells beer pretty much is going to have, you know, I mean, they all are going to have Miller High Life. There's an old oddball hunting season can and your pony bottle. But not so many stores around here anymore are going to have Genuine Draft. It's like High Life, the pasteurized version, has kicked it out. Okay, well, let's look at these syrup flavored. Now look how dark. These are Armour Meats, established in 1867 in Chicago, Illinois by what? Philip Armour, I think his name was. Philip Danforth Armour. In 1947, they introduced a soap brand called Dial. You may have heard of Dial. Yeah. Well, this is bizarre. This tastes like the Lions Club Saturday morning 8 a.m. pancake breakfast. I'm serious. I am serious. Corn syrup. Doesn't say high fructose, but probably could. Well, I think they have to say high fructose. Dextrose. Garlic powder. Okay, syrup type sauce. Syrup type sauce. Right, I knew I was right. High fructose corn syrup. Uh-oh. Corn starch. Maple type syrup flavor. Well, see, you can't beat maple type syrup flavor. Water, caramel color. Glycerin, propylene, glycol, corn syrup flavors. Artificial flavors. Molasses, lactic acid, ammoniated glycerin, resin, and sulfites. Okay, well, okay. Cherry Hill, New Jersey. If you're going to eat healthy, why not go all the way? As evidenced by that ingredients lineup. I have some yellow onions, my friends. I have some Borden pepper jack cheese. I have these Captain's wafers. I am going all out. This is pretty much pairable with any item on earth, you know, that would pair with beer. The price at Walmart was low. What was it? Same as the Milwaukee's Best Light, $4.28 for the 6-pack of pint cans. Not the greatest price in America, but it's the best price in southeastern Louisiana. For the longest time, Steel Reserve was $3.88 for the 6-pack pint cans, and it jumped to $3.99 for 6-pack pint cans. That went on for over 2 years. Now it's up to $4.28 for 6-pack pint cans. So that's what you have. You buy what you can buy. It's the cheapest per ounce over there at Walmart. And Walmart has the cheapest beer per ounce in the town. So there's no use going anywhere else trying to shop it. Unless they have a big sale. Most stores I noticed this year, 2016, aren't doing that. They'll have a sale on the beers of Mexico, or Cervezas Mexicanos, from Anheuser-Busch, you know, Constellation Brands, your Negro, your Modelo, and Pacifico, and Corona Extra. I'm like most of you out there, many of you out there. I'm trying out craft beers 8 days out of a week, okay? So that's constantly being done, you know. I don't need to hear about craft beer. I know about it. I know. I realize it. I drink it constantly. But as a standby beer, this is what comes into play. It's something to have in the fridge. You drink it, you eat it. You don't reflect upon it too much unless you're making a double down video. It's not meant to be a whole lot. It isn't. But they always have a nice little hop note on Miller High Life, you have to say. It isn't a whole lot. It isn't meant to be a whole lot. The ads, if you see their advertisements, they convey that message. So, if I was going to drink a slightly sub-premium lager beer, an American adjunct lager, this would be one to get, as evidenced by what I do constantly. And if I wanted to get an off-kilter, oddball Vienna sausage, that would go great with breakfast, that tastes like an 8 a.m. Lions Club pancake breakfast, then I would go to Big Lots and get this. And Borden, I mean, you know, they always have good cheese, and it's inexpensive, and it's always cheaper than Kraft, and it's better than Kraft, I think. And but if Kraft was on sale cheaper than this, I'd buy it, even though it never is, and etc. and etc. Y'all come on down to Louisiana. y'all watch another double down on one of the light beer or the regular beer or the malt liquor projects.